nice skin, so gorgeous. We thank the life gorgeous. Thank the life gorgeous. I love the life gorgeous. Its torso is so tight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my mahogany panel den. This is the Life Gorgeous, where I share my magical life in hopes of improving your life. Special guest today. We are acquaintances. We met a few years ago. No alcohol was involved. Middle of the day. She's a very nice lady. She's an actress. She's a podcaster. You might know her from the show Psych. You might know her from other things. The beautiful, the talented Maggie Lawson.
Oh.
Welcome.
That's so nice. What an intro. Thank you, Craig. Or should I say Lord Kilby?
Are you thrown off by Lord Kilby?
No, I like it. I like it actually. Yes. It reminds me, as we are acquaintances, of that magical day that we had. We had lunch at the Four Seasons.
Say again.
Was
say
it the
again?
Four Seasons?
No, it was not the Four Seasons. It was.
I feel
is
terrible.
It called L'Hermitage?
Oh, L'Hermitage. That's right. That's right.
On Burton Way.
Yes.
And I love Burton Way because how wide the streets are, and then you pull in. But that place years ago had a different decor inside, which I liked more prior, and now they've changed it. But it's still nice. I'm a hotel kind of guy, hotel lobby bar kind of guy.
I like that. I am too.
Yeah. And do you have any nicknames yourself? Do people call you anything?
Mags, maybe.
Mags.
But my name's Maggie. I go and Margaret, which is my actual full real name.
Right.
Not my fake name. So some people just call me my name, Craig.
Yeah, I love how you hesitate. It's my full real name. You don't sound that excited about it. When I was a kid, my favorite basketball player was Julius Erving. His middle name was Winfield. And I went to my parents and I said, Craig is so boring. They said, well, we almost named you Brian, but that's kind of boring too. Do you like your name? Do you like your name? Yeah?
I do like my name. Yeah. I always thought if I became like a doctor or lawyer or like something that had an intro to it of some kind, like I would go to Margaret because I've been called Maggie my whole life.
Right.
But so I just kind of thought if I was in a position like that, I'd switch it back to Dr. Margaret Lawson. I like Maggie.
I think in 5 years, when you hit 40, you should go to Margaret. You see what I just did there? These are techniques that I do. And I've been doing them for years. But anyway.
Yeah. 7 years, Craig. Thanks. You offended me deeply. Anyway, so that day, we were talking about a thing, which I don't know that we can talk about, but
it's kind of boring, but I was researching some actresses for a project and you kind of jumped out and, I'm sure you have a lot of fans out there. And before we get fully started, can you tell me a little about your podcast? I like to get that out of the way so young people know.
I love that. I want to ask you about yours too, that even though I'm on it right now, but I have two podcasts. I have a rewatch podcast called The Psychologists Are In. That is a podcast about a show I did for a few years. And I host that with Timothy Amundsen, who is my co-star on the show, and we have a ball. And recently I launched another one. Launched it, called Me Time with Maggie. It's really just me time, but I talk to people about what they do in their alone time to restore themselves to I mean I spend a lot of I feel like that's sort of when we get to know ourselves best, and also when maybe our weirdest selves come out, and also our all of the things that make up like who we are and want to explore. I feel like we do that really well when we're alone, but also me time can be a minute in the sun outside. It can be just taking a breath, whatever it is to sort of like come back to yourself. But it kind of varies. Sometimes it's really extravagant for people, like a trip, spa, something major. And for other people, it's literally like they have 3 kids and they just take a minute longer in the shower, or they take the long way home just to have a minute to breathe or whatever. And then,
Now, I find it interesting. Craig. My agile mind is racing because I find it interesting, the me time, because third person Kilby, I've been doing third person Craig since I was in 2nd grade. Craig takes a lot of me time. Now, you weren't an only child, were you? Or were
No,
you?
I have 2 brothers. Yeah. We're very like, our family, I think it became more that the other way. Like I know a lot of people are you an only child?
No, but I'm the youngest and I was spoiled. And my mom was not joking when she said I was her favorite. And my brother and sister know that I was funnier and more entertaining and more charismatic. And my whole life is a little mocking self-absorption because I can't believe we can live this way. And I have a lot of me time. I sit in my club chair. I listen to my Bill Evans jazz and I dream and I think and I go out. And that's part of the Life Gorgeous, which is I joke that my life is all the tension and stress in the world and the dysfunction is away from me because I spend time at my mahogany panel, then straight to the French restaurant and then right back.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of, my only interaction with people is at the market, whether it's Lassen's or Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. That's my only interaction with human.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're an
You ever
East
heard of
Sider.
Lassen's?
Yeah.
You ever heard of Yeah.
So you're an East Sider.
No, they're more than there's 7 Lassens in California.
There's one. No idea.
The biggest one is in San Luis Obispo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's some other ones. I think you're talking about the one in Los Feliz. Is that correct?
Yeah. I just went right to the one I know. But
Natalie Portman said that's her favorite. Years ago, said that was her favorite market because she lived out there, and that was the one. But
I have a funny Natalie Portman story.
What's that?
Natalie Portman and I lived in the same area for a little while, and we actually had a little fender bender at one point, and that's how I learned we live in the same neighborhood.
Tell me it was her fault. No, I'm kidding.
I felt so bad for her. She was so sweet, but yes, I was just at a red light, and a car barely bumped me. But it was still, like startling or whatever. And I got out and just made sure my car was okay. And when I looked up, she had a baby that was just crying hysterically in the back seat and someone in the passenger seat. And I think was probably just a little distracted, but she was the sweetest. It was the sweetest fender bender one could possibly have. She was just so embarrassed and so whatever. And I'm like, oh, we're neighbors.
Right. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So.
So you live over there most of the time, or you live in? I don't want to give away where you live. But,
ish. Let's just say ish. That's sort of where I.
What do you think? I don't go over there a lot. So I do say on my iconic Instagram that I live in Hancock Park because it's a big space. It's nice.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it over there.
I live in a 1923 home, and I used to have a home behind the chateau in the Hollywood Hills, and I like old architecture. They have some great Spanish in Los Feliz, but I didn't. I looked, but I go. Is it called Little Dom's? Is that the place?
Oh, the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's fun.
It's so fun. So, like you, I also am I like to spend a lot of time alone. Hence the podcast, and that is one of my favorite. It's just so easy to go sit at the bar there. There's usually one seat open. You get a good meal. You can talk to the bartenders. They have.
Oh, this is so exciting. You're telling me, as a beautiful young woman, you will do what I do. I go to bar. I dress up. I wear a sport coat and a vest, and I go to I have martinis, and I sit by myself. I may join friends later, etc. But the thing is, most of the bartenders know me anyway, so it's kind of fun. And my old joke is, you probably never heard of this football player named Ahmad Rashad, but he used to be married to Felicia.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine years ago in the 90s, he became very popular TV broadcaster.
I mean, I was barely born, but yes, I do. I have heard about him over time.
And a friend of mine ran into him, a reporter from ESPN in Chicago, because he was friends with Jordan and they were covering the Bulls. And then he ran into Ahmad Rashad, and I've told this story many times. It's quick, but it's just like, he goes, I went bar hopping with Ahmad Rashad. I said, how was it? He goes, let me put it to you this way. Ahmad likes being Ahmad. And I like being Kilby, where I go out and sit at a bar, but I'm surprised that you, as a young woman, have that where you can go sit at a bar by yourself and just be Maggie Lawson, be Mags.
Yeah, be Mags. I honestly, I think that's where a lot of the podcast came from. A lot of people will say to me, you know, if I take a trip or if I'm going to dinner, is this Maggie time or are you going with people? Because I'm very known for being alone. I travel alone. I feel like there's a different experience. Now, I love people and I've, you know, but there are just nights I'm like, I want to just be in the world and experience the world. And I want a good meal. But I don't want to be on anyone else's schedule. I just want to be on mine. And I don't necessarily want to engage with anybody. I just want to be in it. So I just like, I do that a lot, actually.
Okay. So there are multiple questions that I have, and I was going to get to some other things, and we will potentially, but this is kind of fun. Do you think a lot of women do what you're doing? Are you a loner? Because I say I'm very independent and I'm a loner. But I enjoy that. And you said you like people. I don't necessarily like people, but that's okay. I like my writer friends from Family Guy. We talk, we joke. I like that kind of creative stuff.
Yes.
And a lot of people want to hang with me, but do you find it as a woman that you're kind of rare that you hang out by yourself at a bar?
Probably. I mean, I guess so, because I do look, I feel like LA is a little different as well. Like I think it's a little more normal in like New York, where everybody's just kind of on foot and doing this. Like you pop into places, it's a little easier. But I do feel like it's probably, especially at this point in my life, at my, you know, being 32, I feel, like it's a weird thing to not be going out to the clubs with my friends. No, I just think that over the last, I think like maybe 5, 7, 10 years, I've always liked being alone and traveling alone. But going out to eat alone, I think is something that used to intimidate me. But then I would be like, I want a good meal, and a lot of my friends are, you know, married or have kids or like have plans. And I'm very last minute. I'm not a big planner. So I don't know how I'm going to feel on a certain. So it's like an hour before I'm like, oh, you know what sounds good? That fish at Little Dom's. I'm going to go have that. And it's really I'm not going to, it doesn't matter if I have someone. I've just become comfortable with like, okay, if I can't make plans with someone, I have to be comfortable going and enjoying life by myself. And I do. I really do. So, and Little Dom's is one of my favorite places to go. So I do think it's maybe rare. But I also think it can be intimidating. And I think, you know, and sometimes I may talk to somebody, but a lot of times I just take my phone or I'm on my crossword puzzle or I'm being, you know, a loner, as you said.
Right. The obvious question is, how many men have you picked up? I'm kidding. But Little Dom's, I've only been there like 4 or 5 times. But I love
you say like I picked up, like I'm going there like, okay, who's mine tonight? No, I want a good meal. That's it.
You have your choice of anybody in there. But no, I like the vibe there. I like the bar. I think they have little coupe glasses for martinis. And we might as well get into it now.
They do.
Because I do have an organization here, but I'm just going with this. What do you drink? Because I on the Life Gorgeous, I tell the young people drink in moderation. And I now at my age, which is close to 50, I just have 1 martini a week, and that's a true story unless I'm traveling, and then I space it out. So I have 1 martini a week and a couple glasses of red wine. So I don't drink like I used to, and I'm very disciplined that way, but I have friends, of course, who have issues, and I have a good writer friend who is clean and sober 2 years, and I support him. I don't hang out with him anymore. No, I'm kidding. But what is your drink of choice?
It depends. I would say I'm mostly wine, almost always wine. And I move around, like I'm in a weird, like I love white burgundies. That's sort of my phase right now, I'm in very much a champagne or a sparkling phase as well right now, because I feel like I'm learning about like these because of global warming, these new regions are coming out with like really, really, really special sparkling wines. And so I love K&L wine. I will literally go to all of their tastings and like nerd out with all the people there. And I am not at all like, I'm not like a fancy, I don't know all the terms. I don't know. I just know what I like.
Right.
And so that's that. And then I'm very much in a martini phase right now.
No,
honestly.
You're lying through your teeth.
I'm not. I'm making them as well as doing them. Like I've been perfecting a martini for a while, Lord Kilby.
Pause for poise. Let me just say a few things. Okay. We're going to get to the martinis in a second.
Okay.
But I like red wine. I drink red wine. We're spoiled in California. Yeah. I know what I know. I don't need to be an expert. It's like jazz music. I know all the old standards. I don't always know if Gershwin wrote it or Cole Porter. I just like what I like. And when I was at CBS, CBS would always buy me California Cabernets. And there were these big, bold, whether it was Camus or Duckhorn, big famous names, brands. But I do drink a lot from Paso Robles. I don't really drink white wine unless a buddy of mine orders it, and then I'll have it. And I say, oh, this is refreshing. So I went through a Pinot Noir stage, back to California cabs now. I just like cabs from Napa, Sonoma, but mostly Paso Robles. Now, I like martinis.
I want to ask a question. Okay. I was going to ask you.
Did you have a question before we get into martinis?
Do you know Paulato? Have you had Paulato wines? Okay, well, that's maybe another.
Oh, you're trying to go over my head.
Paso. No, I'm not. I'm connecting because Paso, I feel like Turtle Rock. Like I love that. I love it all up there too. Okay, yeah. But anyway, so I love the
by the way,
too.
You might know more about wines than I do because I lost focus of them after CBS stopped giving me all of these. And I remember I discovered this one called L. This is back in 2004. L. And it was a guy who was an auto racer, but it was a $40 cab, and now it's like $150. It was really good, but it's dizzying to know there's so many great wines in California. So it's dizzying. And I also will go Italian restaurant. I'll have a dry Chianti because I like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love a Chianti as well. Yeah.
Before I forget, before we get to martinis, which I talk about probably too often, I'm just going to name, you name your favorite restaurants in LA, and then I'm going to tell you if I know any of them.
Oh, name God. All over. Favorite restaurant. I love Little Dom's. Mm-hmm. I love Marvin. Okay. I recently went to Funky. It was great.
Oh, okay. So have you been to his other ones?
Which ones?
Mother Wolf in Hollywood.
Oh, Mother Wolf. 100%. Love Mother Wolf. Okay. I don't think I've had their martini.
That's yeah, they had a fun vodka, but we can talk about vodkas in a second. But Mother Wolf is in a great building. Vodka. It's an Art Deco building. And I always say, don't waste a drink on a subpar location. So Craigers doesn't have a martini in a biker bar, and when I go into a biker bar, I go to the jukebox and I put on a Careless Whisper just to mess with everybody. But anywho, so I have not been to Funky, but that's in Beverly Hills. I can't remember his first name. I don't remember his first name.
Funky?
Is it Evan? Uh-huh. Yeah, Evan or Ivan? Yeah. So he has that's a 3-story building, right? The one in Beverly Hills, and then he has one in Abbot Kinney.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've only been to Mother Wolf, which was fun.
There's a vibe. Very fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good. Let me hit you with a couple. I'll hit you with a couple.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Rayo's in Hollywood?
I've seen it, but I have not been.
Okay, that's fun. It's fun. It's Italian. Obviously, Dan Tana's. I'm sure you've been there years ago.
Dan Tana's.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ever heard of Republique?
I love Republique. I haven't been in years. Yeah. I love Republique. What else is over there? Oh, Gigi's.
I don't know Gigi's. Republique is in my neighborhood. And then the owner, Walter Mansky, has a place over on Pico near Beverly Hills called Mansky, but also Bicyclette downstairs, which is a little French bistro. Have you been there?
Yes.
Oh my Lord.
Oh, this is great. I actually know some of these.
Yeah.
I love Bicyclette. Yeah.
Good for you. That is good. No, that's good. Because those are, and then let me go back to the martini. So okay. when I was a kid, I used to make a martini for my father when he'd get home from work. He showed me how to do it. I had a little dropper for vermouth because he put vermouth in it, but it was gin, and I don't drink gin. I drink vodka.
Same.
Yeah, because I think
Yeah.
gin's a little hard on us. I think it's hard on me. You know,
I can't do it. I went through an
I get a little
phase.
belligerent. I think you would probably get in an argument at Little Dom's.
For sure. 100%.
You'd raise your voice.
Yeah, just a little bit. Somebody starts recording. It's terrible.
Right. But I like the ritual of martinis. I like the shaking. I obviously some bars will stir it and it's fine. Couple observations. A bartender said to me, and I disagreed with her. She was actually at there was called Dominic's. Little Dom's had a place called Dominic's near the Beverly Center. It's not there anymore.
Yeah.
She was really cool. And she was like a writer. She said, first of all, Craig, we're all functional alcoholics. I don't agree with her on that, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. Because some of us are very disciplined, thank God. And she also said, I can take the house vodka and shake it and shake it so much you won't even know it's the house vodka, because vodka doesn't have a lot of flavor. She says we like it because it's ice cold and it warms up going down our throat.
Okay.
But I love martinis. I didn't drink them in my 20s. I tried to. I didn't like it. Then I drank them in my 30s. And I also had single malt scotch, but I've cut back on that. So it's just red wine and vodka martinis. And sometimes it's not even with vermouth, so it's not really a martini. Do you like a twist or olives, or you switch it up?
Switch it up.
I'm in
olives right now. Right now. But sometimes it's like, no, it's got to be the twist. I 100% can't commit to either one. As being the one, I
totally agree. So my brother he doesn't drink them very often, but he always has to have a twist. Twist is more refreshing.
It is refreshing.
But we like salty, and in my past experience, women love dirty martinis. They like the olive juice in there.
Love it. A dirty martini is good. I like it a little dirty. I don't like it filthy.
Yeah. I don't do the dirty much. I don't do it anymore. I do. And I can do blue cheese olives or just olives.
I'm not a blue cheese olive person.
That's fine.
I'm pretty particular about that. But otherwise, yeah, it's funny. Okay, I have to know then, could you taste the house vodka after she shook it? Was she right?
Yeah, she's right. I mean, it's basically, if it's not as smooth, the lower grade vodkas they're going to sting a little more. They're going to be like, stronger. And then like Grey Goose, they just distill it or do something where it's very smooth. But I don't drink Grey Goose. Oh, I could ask you this. I have my 3 top vodkas, whatever. What do you order, young lady, when you're there?
It depends. I like Chopin if they have it. Is that one of your worst?
It's my top. That's my top one. It's potato vodka. It's my number one.
Same number one.
Yeah.
And I'll take a Tito's usually over some of the fancier ones. Like people will be like, no, it comes with Ketel One. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I'll take a Tito's. And I love Ketel One. I love Belvedere. Those are all great. But give me a potato vodka any day. Wait, no, Chopin is actually grape, right?
No, that's
Chopin
Ciroc.
Is potato. Oh, Ciroc.
Ciroc
right.
is
No.
great. Yeah.
I don't want. I'm not down with the grape as much as. But give me that potato.
So mine is Chopin, Belvedere, and I used to drink Ketel One, but now I don't. I just order Chopin if they have it or Belvedere, but I don't really care because I experiment with different ones because it's vodka. It's not like single malt scotch, which is flavor, which is I get Lagavulin 16, blah blah blah. So that is fascinating. I'll give you one more martini thing because we don't want to.
I feel like there's like a quiz, and I'm like,
I know. I know. You're doing
passing
well.
Craig's martini test.
Well, a lot of. There aren't, some women don't drink martinis and some women don't go out by themselves, but some aren't going through a stage. I'm kidding.
This is just who I am. I told you I've been like this for 10 years since I was 23.
Right.
I have lived this way.
I was going to say at the top, because we had a couple email exchanges as we were arranging this.
Yeah.
You seem very nice because I was out in the Palm Springs area. I go out to the desert sometimes, and occasionally I usually stay an extra day before I come back. And I didn't this time. I made sure I came back on time. But you were like, take your time. I can adjust. So are you generally are you nice to all the men in your life?
I don't know if it's gender specific, but okay, and I don't mean to make this like, oh, it's actually about me, but I appreciate I told you I'm a last minute, I'm not like a big planner. So I appreciate when someone's kind of loose and open with me, especially around travel, especially around, an experience or something. So I was thinking like, oh, it's a desert. That sounds so nice. Don't rush back
Okay.
for this.
Right.
If you're having
Right.
a good time, I'll be
Right.
here and we can
Okay.
do this whenever. So it was more like, yeah, I hope I'm a nice person. I don't know, but I want, if you're enjoying yourself, I would like for you to keep, doing that.
Yeah,
And
that's very thoughtful. That's very nice. Now, I want to ask you though, when you say you're kind of fluid and loose and not
yeah,
preparing things, are you constantly late? Are you
no,
irresponsible? Are
no.
you absent-minded? Do you lose your glasses 5 times a day? What's going on?
So I know, I actually don't. It's interesting that when I do say I will be there at a certain time, I hate being late.
Oh, good.
Probably my
Yeah.
my least favorite feeling is being rushed.
Mhm.
And then if I feel like I'm holding somebody up or if I'm going to be late for something. So I'm actually I think I'm pretty punctual, and I think I'm a pretty like, I'm probably overly vigilant in my life about like where things are and I don't know. So I don't lose things. I know what you're saying, because it would sound like somebody who's just kind of like loosey goosey would be like,
Right.
I'll get there when I get there,
Right.
but I'm actually not like that. It's weird. So, and maybe that's part of the reason I need to make sure I can, arrange things so that I will be on time, because I absolutely hate being late. So to say I'm not like that though. It's just more that I won't tell you for sure that I'm coming probably until, 2 hours before.
Okay.
Because then I know
but
I can do it.
Yeah, but like when you say at the last minute you go down to Little Dom's,
Yeah.
now everyone's going to know that's your place, and they're going to just bombard you there.
It's not, I have other places. I'll keep those.
You don't have to say what they are. You don't have to say what they are.
Yeah. All right.
But I would
Little
be
Dom's
concerned,
special.
depending upon what time you went there, I'd be concerned about getting a seat, because it's
Yes.
and I go early. I go early because I go to bed early. It's part of the secret to the beauty tricks that I have is I've been falling asleep at 9 p.m. for a number of years.
9 p.m. is lovely.
That's why the skin is this way.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know if you
It
can
looks
see
great.
it. But
No, I can see you're glowing.
Tight
It's
pores.
really, yeah, you look great. I was going to ask you, but like not on the podcast, what your routine is, because I would like to follow it, but I'm an early to bed person too. If I'm going to have a meal alone, I do try to beat the crazy. So I will try to get there, but early is like 7 for me.
So one more thing on the martinis, and I want to go a little bit to Louisville, Kentucky, your childhood, just for a second. So the last thing on the, and this is not a test, I just like telling people this. So they're different martini glasses. They're the big classic ones. And then there are these little things called Nick and Nora glasses. Have you heard of Nick and Nora glasses?
Nora glasses. Yes.
What's that?
I love the Nick and Nora glasses.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah.
I love them. I think I also like coupes, but I like Nick and Nora glasses. And all the bartenders, they know that they're called Nick and Nora, but they don't know why. I'm not testing you. Okay. I'm going to tell you, unless you want to tell me why, but I'll tell you why they're called Nick and Nora glasses. Okay. You ready?
Tell me, because I have no idea, actually.
Okay. Yeah. So back in the 30s, there was the Thin Man series. It was this socialite woman, Myrna Loy, and William Powell. And he was a retired cop, but they became detectives, and they would always be drinking the whole time. And they were named Nick and Nora Charles, and they drank out of these little champagne glasses, and they had martinis and all this kind of stuff. And it was called the Thin Man series. And they were witty and charming, and they solved crimes. And that's how they named the glasses, after Nick and Nora Charles. And I'll give you one of the lines where, back then in the 30s, they were a married couple, but I think they had to show separate beds in the bedroom. So one is in the bed and the other is in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cops come in, and he starts going through the dressers looking for something. And she says, "Nick, someone's going through my drawers." And that was one of the lines. You see what I'm saying?
Oh my God,
it
really?
was double entendre. They did this stuff. Someone's going through my drawers. A man is going through my drawers. So it was very.
I love that. I know the show.
Yeah.
And I should have known Nick and Nora Charles because I know Nick and Nora Charles. But so that's where the glass is. That's where the name of the glass comes from.
Yeah, Nick and Nora Charles, Nick and Nora. Yeah.
I
the 1930s.
Love that.
1930s, yes.
I also think it fits the martini itself a little better than the classic. I feel like those can be kind of big and.
Oh my Lord! I've had some at some country clubs where they're so big. It's like I'm hot. It's hot outside. I'm sweaty. If I finish this.
Yeah.
The 6'5" Craigers is going to be like moving around and bumping into things. So I like the Nick and Nora glasses. I love them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They're special. And it's a special drink. I always feel like it's such a treat. I feel kind of fancy. I feel it just feels I'm transported into like a different time or something.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Because I like old movies. We're going to get you're going to do your top 5 movies later. But one of the questions I've asked people, and I won't ask you because you're a woman, but I've asked guys. I had a comedian on, Michael Costa. I said, Michael, and I've said this to other guys, do you ever put on a blazer and just go to a piano bar and listen to music? And, Michael was like, I like blues. So the short answer is no. I like blues. I wear a t-shirt. Some guys are beer drinkers and they like the blues, and I like jazz and I like American standards. So I do, when you're talking about elegance or it makes you feel a certain way with the martini, totally agree.
Yeah. I think women would respond to that question similarly. It may not be that we're putting on a dress or doing, but there is a feeling holding a martini glass and sipping a martini that you can't deny.
Yes.
It just feels nice. Also, you can't really drink them fast. So there's an experience. They are to be enjoyed. It is I'm so with you on this. And I feel like it's a recent discovery for me. I've definitely had martinis in my life, but over the last couple of years, I feel like it's turned into a whole experience, start to finish, from ordering to sipping to Sunset Tower. That was another place that
beautiful spot.
That you have to have a martini there. I can't order a glass of wine there.
I'm also particular about the lighting, and it's very dark there, and I like dark, and it's mysterious. And is she staring at me? Am I staring at her? We don't know what's going on. But there was something else. I can't believe the review. Kilborn and Lawson were talking about martinis for 40 minutes. What is wrong with these people? But
your podcast is called The Life Gorgeous.
That's what it is.
And I wanted to ask you. Yeah.
Most of my, go ahead. I was going to say most of my Instagram is me with a martini at different locations. That's basically what it is.
Brilliant. So what made you come up with this? I
think I joined Instagram in 2018. I wanted my nieces to know that their uncle was funny. But I also, I like Cary Grant, and I just like old movies, and I like martinis, and I like dressing up, and I'm silly that way. And it's just, that's my me time.
This is a perfect me. We have similar me times. That me going to dinner is I feel like myself again. To go have a nice meal and have a nice martini or a glass of wine and have a be in the world. I feel, I don't know. I feel a little restored from that experience usually. Yeah.
I say it's a form of meditation. I actually had a picture of me in the lotus position with 2 martinis meditating. That was one of them. But there was something else. Have you been to Musso and Frank?
Yes, of course. That is a large martini.
But they do something at the bar. I don't know if they do it when you sit at the table, but at the bar, they give you a sidecar. So it's a little carafe of extra vodka in a pewter cup that has ice. And it's a sidecar, and that's pretty special.
I love that. You know who does that is Mastro's as well. Although they don't give you the little sidecar, they actually give you a little mini shaker.
Oh yeah,
It
correct.
comes, yeah. So they like. See,
Oh, wait a second.
I know.
Have you been to Mastro's or not? Have you? I mean, the one in Beverly Hills, or they're different locations.
I like the one in Beverly Hills a lot, but I prefer the
Okay.
one in Malibu.
Okay.
Yeah. Why?
Well, when I was doing the CBS show in the early 2000, 2004, 99 and 2004, that was a kind of a go-to spot. I'll tell you my go-to spots because I worked at CBS on Beverly and Fairfax, and I could drive down Beverly and go to Madeo, which is
Oh
no longer
yes.
there. Madeo, which is downstairs.
Now on Sunset,
That was
right?
fun. But Mastro's, I used to go there, and I was friends with the late great Dennis Farina, the actor, and he would always be there, and we would shoot the crap or whatever. How we would just have fun. But he said, "Go park in the back, walk through the kitchen." So I would do that, and then later they got new management. They go, "No more parking in the back and walking through the kitchen." But I would go upstairs, and the piano player would play something. He'd play whatever I wanted. I liked the song "Tenderly," this old jazz song. He'd play it as soon as he saw me. And it was dark, and there were a lot of years later I took my niece there, and she goes, "Why is that woman's skirt so short at the bar?" Because they have escorts there. And it's a scene there. And I just didn't know if young innocent Maggie should be up in Mastro's up there listening to music, unless you're eating downstairs, which is fine. I don't know where you were at Mastro.
That's more with people, I would say. I don't know that I've ever done Mastro. I don't know that that's an alone place for me. I need exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I need a kind of more quiet, cozy. I know the bartenders. Those are more like my cheers places. Mastro's is not like a cheers place for me.
Right.
For anyone listening, that was a very popular sitcom that came out. Sorry, I don't know your listeners, but like I have my those places. Mastro's is not one of those. Oops, my light just fell. Not one of those places, but it is definitely one of my favorite. I will say it's one of my favorite martinis. But I don't think I would feel totally at peace there alone.
Yeah. No,
maybe the one in Malibu though. See, it's different.
Yeah.
The one in Malibu is.
No, there's just there's certain places, and I can say this because there's certain places where the clientele is a little cheesy. And the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. There's a restaurant that I like, but over there in the area, but the clientele is a little too silly. But anywho,
I like a little cheese though sometimes. Anyway, that's just me. But yeah.
What about one more place, Polo Lounge? You ever been to the Polo Lounge?
Oh yeah, of course. Love the Polo Lounge. It's been a while, actually. It's been a long time since I've been. But yeah, I know these are good martini spots. Have you been to Dante yet?
No, I've heard of it. Where is that?
It's a cocktail place. I love the one in New York. Also a good martini, a good drink. It's a drinks place. I mean, I hear it's also like wonderful food. I have not eaten there that often, but I'm going to have. And the Mayborn, also in Beverly Hills, which is
It used to be called the Montage.
Yes.
I believe it was called.
Yeah.
And that was a go-to place for me because I like the big open area there.
Yeah.
And by the way, across the way from the Mayborn used to be Bouchon, Thomas Keller's Bouchon upstairs, and it closed. And he has one up in Yountville, and I've been to the one in Yountville, but it bothered me that it closed, and I heard that the city was not giving him good deals, and he closed down.
Oh.
So it was Bouchon. Thomas Keller, who has the French Laundry, has this place called Bouchon.
Yeah, I didn't go to Bouchon. When was that? I'm surprised.
That was probably closed about 10 years ago, and it was very upsetting to me.
I feel like
they had a pewter bar. It was a curved pewter bar.
Oh, cool.
I think they have pewter in every one because he has 3 locations. I found out he has Bouchon in 3 locations. I found out yesterday. The original one up in Yountville, Vegas, and then Coral Gables, Florida, which I don't hang out in Florida. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, I don't really either, but interesting location. I feel like my food and drink appreciation probably started right around the time that closed here, like probably 10, 12 years ago. Yeah. Yeah.
So you mentioned New York.
Yes. I love New York.
So I like to talk about it a little bit because I lived there in the 90s for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Did you live there?
I had a place.
Oh.
And I was with someone who, for years, who had an apartment there. And so we ended up mostly spending time at his place, but I did have an apartment for about 3 years from like 2008 to like 2011. Yeah. 16th and 7th.
Wait. You downtown. Is that what you just said?
So kind of borderline, very Chelsea, West Village.
You probably went to Corner Bistro and had a burger.
Love Corner Bistro. Love Corner Bistro. Yes, I did. That was, and I was working on a show in Vancouver, and I had this dream of living there, and I'm still going to maybe fulfill this. So because I didn't really get to do it then. All my friends who were working there, a lot of people stayed in my apartment, but I never, though I've spent a lot of time there, I never officially moved into that apartment, and it does kind of break my heart. But
so I'm very happy I got to experience New York. I like cities. I love San Francisco. It's going through a period now, a rough period with the homeless and crime. But San Francisco was the first city I lived as an adult out of college with my brother, blah, blah, blah. But so I don't argue anymore about New York versus LA because I just think it's too much apples and oranges. But I'll just say to my friends in New York, I know it's the greatest city in the world. I just like the sunshine and the wall around the house and the pool and my space. But Seinfeld had a great quote. He goes, "I love Manhattan. It's like a wonderful cocktail party. I'm glad I was invited." So there's a certain energy to New York. Can I just tell you a quick story? Because I don't know if the fans, the followers have heard this one. This is in the 90s. It just tells you something about the 90s. So I was on a first date in the 90s. I was doing the Daily Show, and a beautiful woman who we went out for a couple of years, and I like to bar hop. And I said, we're going to go to Mesa Grill on 14th. Bobby Flay's place. We're just going to get appetizers.
Love Mesa Grill. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The blue corncornbread. Oh, so good. Okay.
And then we ended up, I love this hotel from the outside. It's beautiful. Like, I don't know if it's Beaux Arts or I don't know what it is, but it's the St. Regis on the east side, and inside is the King Cole bar. Okay. And it's a smaller bar that has a tight carpet, one of those really nice carpets, and then it has a huge mural. And they say that there's an argument, but they say the King Cole bar invented the Bloody Mary back in the 1919 or whatever. Yeah. Others people say no, it was invented in Paris. So this is the end of the night. I'm sitting there, and I said to the girl, "I'm going to kiss you now." She thought it was hilarious that I announced it. And just off to the side, smoking a cigar, taking in the show, was Alec Baldwin, just smoking. And I just loved that back in the 90s, you could smoke a cigar in these places. I used to smoke cigars in certain steakhouses back in the 90s, which is it's now lost. But I just like that story, a typical New York story with Baldwin smoking a cigar, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So you probably haven't been to the
still exists.
Oh, yeah,
I haven't.
It's beautiful.
I haven't been there.
21 Club, it's closed now.
21 Club. I knew 21 Club. But I didn't know it. That's another one I know of, but I didn't.
You're a kid. You're a kid.
I'm just a baby. No, it's still kind of like that. I was in, this was wild. I was there in March, and I went to Teresi.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's so good. Oh, it's beautiful. The space is so beautiful. It's very like old. It feels old school New York, but there's like this. They play kind of like 90s hip hop, but it's also very like I don't know. It feels very classic to me. Like it's like and the food is outstanding. Oh, it's just so good. Anyway, but I'm sitting there having dinner, and I look over, and like Jerry Seinfeld is at one booth, Meryl Streep was at another booth, and it's like it was very chill, and nobody was like overreacting or reacting. Right. I was a little bit. I was, inside I was squealing a little bit, but it was like it felt like I was like, oh, this feels like such a New York moment, like being in this beautiful place, having this incredible meal, and looking over, and like Jerry Seinfeld and his buddy, and Meryl Streep was there, and I don't know, that was pretty spectacular. That was very special recent New York moment.
Yeah, it's a great city. I don't long for it anymore because my oversight is I don't like flying, and I've only been to London and Paris And for some reason, I went to Rio de Janeiro because a friend of mine wanted to go in the 90s. But
Wait, you don't like to fly?
I don't like to fly. I will if I have to. I will.
Oh,
I fly to Minnesota when I watch the Timberwolves in the playoffs.
Awesome. Right.
But I haven't been, this is my oversight. And I realize the good news is I'm going to have you on again and, down the road. And I spread out my guests, but because I might not get to some of this, some of the stuff I want to get to, which is good because we're talking about, we're
just in flow about our martinis. Yeah.
Martini.
People are going to be like, oh my God, these two. This is enough with the martinis already.
I've never seen these people so obsessed with talking about martinis.
Drinking.
Thank God they didn't talk about how long they shake it for and blah, blah, blah. But I got to tell you something pathetic, but I wanted to tell you I haven't been to Italy, but let me come back to that. So I had this house in the hills, and this is a problem. I do tell the young people, be careful with drinking. I had this amazing house. I like old houses, but for 10 and a half years, I lived in the old Dennis Hopper house. It was behind the Chateau Marmont. And they've done books about it now. And he took photographs before he did Easy Rider, and everyone was in there. Jimmy Stewart was in there and Jane Fonda. They were all friends. And my old interior designer, Martin Lawrence Bullard, now owns the house. And he's changed it up a bit, but it's a very special house. And don't try this at home, young people. Sometimes I would really look forward to my martini and I would be by myself. Doesn't mean I won't call anybody and say, come over later. Sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes I would just drink by myself, which is dangerous. Be careful. And then eat a meal and go to bed. You always have to have an out. I say this is a common phrase I have is don't chase the night, young people. Have an out. You have a meal and go to bed. But Maggie, I would shower and put on my silk pajamas and come downstairs and put on my music and dim the lights and have a martini and catch an intense buzz. Am I a bad person for that?
This is the whole point of my podcast.
There's your me time.
Lord Kilby, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I always encourage
drinking by yourself?
No, okay. Hold on. No, I'm going to say it like this. It could be coffee. Okay.
Okay.
But we're just going to call it a martini, but we're just going to, yours is a martini. And you're right. That can, everything in moderation, people, everything in moderation. Yes. But no, it's the everything else you said. It's the ritual. It is it's the silk pajama. It's the putting on, dimming the lights, putting on your music. What is life if we're not doing those things? And it doesn't always we can give those things to ourselves. And I feel like, I don't know. So I live by that. I'm similar in a lot of ways and by the way, that makes me happy. Just don't judge it, Lord Kilby. Okay. Don't judge that. That's your time. And that fills the bucket, that gets you ready for the next day. You feel good. You can give yourself that time and those things, whatever that is, whether you have, silk pajamas and a martini, or maybe it's watching dumb videos on Instagram for a little while you, sip I don't know, something. I'm making a terrible reference with that, but you know what I mean?
It didn't sound as good as the martini and silk pajamas, just to let you know.
I'm just saying it's different for everybody, but are you bad? No, I would say this is what life is about. Enjoy yourself.
It sounds like your Me Time podcast is similar to the Life Gorgeous, except my title might be a little more electrifying, but that's okay.
It is. It actually, and I was going to ask you what prompted you, because I feel like we probably have a similar seed there. Mine is, it can be many things. I mean, my me time is, but I just have a lot of me time. I have a lot of alone time. I enjoy alone time. I've come to really I can't live without it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so I feel like the Life Gorgeous, when you asked me to be on the podcast and you said kind of what we might be talking about, I'm like, oh, this is kind of a fancy twist on but it's the same idea. And I love it.
Yeah. It's a couple things, and we can talk about some of these things late in another podcast, but in general, So I was working in television late night, and I was around some miserable people. We call them malcontents, to the point where I had to just look up, are some people just born happy? Because I just think life is magical and life is special.
I too.
I know that I mean, part of my thing is the mocking the self-absorption, because I know I'm self-absorbed, but I have fun with it. I'm self-aware, blah, blah, blah. But it's just fun. And I'm not a big whiner or complainer. So the Life Gorgeous is about enjoying life. And it's what, and I also say it's elevated taste, because I think listening to Bill Evans or Miles Davis is superior to listening to AC/DC, but that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
But that's okay. That's your taste.
So yeah, and I also think in our society we're too patient with all the bitterness out there, all the people arguing. So I ignore it, and I always tell people, because I've had some people on, we talk a little politics, and I'm above the fray. I'm an independent, but I care about the issues. But it's more about the attitude, and there's so much rage and bitterness, and I just, as long as you're not at Little Dom's pounding your fist and saying, "Where's my burger? God damn it, where's my burger?"
Yeah.
You know, I assume you don't have a temper. I mean,
I feel like, I think it's like the dark and the light kind of, like, I just try to stay in the light. That's, so it's like, and not even like I'm not even being super spiritual with that. It feels that way. So I want to stay light. I want to stay light on my feet. I want to stay light in the world. I want to stay open to everybody, where everybody is and everybody's doing. But I also know what I need to do for me. And I think I know when I am taking care of myself that way, that I will be better in the world, in every way. So it's more, it's a deeper thing, us, having these things that we might do for ourselves. I do think it keeps us in a state, not to say any other state is, I'm not judging anybody where anybody else is on wherever they are, but like there is I don't know. I think it helps keep me in a lighter place to be good to myself.
Yes. Yeah. Now, here's an area I like prefacing what we're going to do and not do, but there's an area where I haven't even talked to my buddies about it, but on the podcast, but I talk privately about. So I have some instincts in life. I've always had a positive attitude. I say there's no wrong side of the bed in my world, but some of my friends go to therapy, and there's nothing wrong going to therapy. I do this thing. It's partially joking, but my dad said it, but I do what's called self-counsel, where I sit in my club chair and I say, stop this, don't do this, be better here. I do that. Nothing wrong with therapy. I have no desire to go. I've never gone. I did go out with a prominent comedian, and his wife was a therapist, and she said, "You're fine. You don't need therapy. Plus, you don't want to change. You're fine." That's what she said. But the other thing I wanted to say is, some of my friends who are, hippie girls that are, spiritual, I will tell them stuff, and they go, "Well, that's Buddhism, or that's positive, or that's." And I refer to it as my Gandhi-like inner peace and all this stuff. So anywho.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you a question. I'm just going to let you comment.
No, I do consider myself actually very spiritual in that, but I don't subscribe to like any one. I don't know. I feel like I have been. I just feel really lucky, and so I feel really like I do love my life, and I am grateful for that, and I have definitely been to therapy, but I also. I feel like we all kind of have an inner guide around all of that. Like, I think that I get really peeved when someone says something to me like, I know you better than you know yourself, or those kinds of like, let me tell you, or let me, and so, because I feel like I actually, not that, believe me, I feel like I'm learning stuff all the time. We will forever, but I do feel like I have. And I don't know where this comes from. I don't know if it's mom and dad. I don't know if we're born this way. I don't know what it is, but that I feel like we all have this kind of inner knowing of what things kind of feel like. And that is a really good, I feel like, good guide to follow. So I don't know, therapy might not be for you. It might be really helpful for somebody else. It might not, but like, I think you know this about yourself.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so trust yourself. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. But I do consider myself, I light a candle. I lit a candle today. I lit my little
Yeah?
candle. Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I was like, I like to have a little candle burning all the time because I feel like
Sure.
it's nice energy. It creates a little, vibe or whatever. So
Yeah.
sometimes So what were you getting at? Yeah. God,
You seem,
Maggie. There we go.
You seem like a big pothead.
I think I smoked pot the night I graduated high school. Maybe once, I'm not kidding, in my 20s. And since I'm barely in my 30s, it remains to be seen. No, and I think maybe twice in my 30s.
Oh, that's classic. I'm a square. I'm a square, and I've talked about this. When it comes to pot, I'm a real square. And the fact that I use the term pothead kind of gives it away.
But why do I come off like a stoner? What is that? Because of what I'm like,
I don't know. You seem a little too together to be smoking pot. So I don't think you're a pothead. I was doing a complete joke because I have friends that are potheads and I like to make fun of them still. And I just think it's hilarious. And I always tell people, well, it was illegal growing up, but I just like, it's the old movies where I like the romance of drinking.
Yes.
And I'd rather see Cary Grant with a martini glass than a big rancid bong. I don't like the visual of a bong.
Agreed.
Yeah.
There's I agree with you. And I know a lot of people who smoke pot. I know a lot of people who smoke pot for a lot of reasons that are great, but I've never ever, I don't think I've ever touched a bong. I'm uncomfortable saying the word. It feels weird. I'm like,
that's funny.
Yeah. I'm why does it feel dirty to say it for some reason?
Bong. Yeah, I don't know. Must
word.
rhyme with something.
Yeah. No, yeah, it must. So anyway.
Okay, so wait, let me just think, because I want to keep it moving, because I know that some of the notes I have here we're going to talk about another time, but that's okay.
Oh, no, because I have so many questions, because you don't like to fly. You mentioned road trips, and I'm such a road tripper.
Okay, so let's do road trips. Okay. I wanted to say one other thing that I just wanted to, the therapy thing. So I have friends that go to therapy and I support them and it's helpful to them. And sometimes it's not helpful, but I'll give you two things. My writer friend, I just love him to death. He's on Family Guy, Julius Sharp, who is clean and sober for 2 years. Very funny guy.
Congratulations to him.
Yes. Yeah. And he told me something about, and he does not smoke pot. He says he's just allergic to it, doesn't care about it, doesn't like it. And I just like that. But anyway, he says, every woman I went to college with who was an alcoholic became a therapist. That's kind of all that means. All that means is, and other friends have told me, there are good therapists and there are not so good therapists. That's all that means. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you have to know, again, that's like, you got to know I have a lot of friends who are therapists, and I have had therapists that I like absolutely helped me, or that I loved so much. I think that you have to know yourself. Like, we all have a gauge for a little bit of like, this doesn't feel like it's helping, or this feels destructive, or this feels bad. It's just whether or not I think we listen to it. And maybe that's what therapy is helpful for. But I think there is a gut feeling usually, like, this doesn't feel like it's getting me anywhere. And if you just need someone, I had a therapist once tell me that she had an actor who just never had a moment to himself. I'm assuming he was very well-known or something. And he used to come and just take a nap. He would pay to just come and sit in the office and take a nap on the couch in the office. Now, I don't know if that's allowed or whatever, if that's some kind of weird, but Duchovny. She allowed it.
David Duchovny.
No, but I don't know who it was, but I was like, oh, that's so interesting, because I guess that is a form of therapy. And if that is the place where you felt safe and peaceful, right. I don't know. So I don't know. I think there's, again, just like anything else, that's such an interesting, I think there was a movement of therapy. Now I think there are these kind of branches of therapy that are kind of there are more specialized therapists, and now there is, I think, some more spiritual movement. And so I'm kind of curious to see where, I think that we're in an interesting place with therapy right now. I don't know.
Yeah, I also
don't know anything, Craig.
No, you're
like,
very,
what am I saying?
you're very thoughtful. And I believe in being very compassionate to the young people. I did hear something that I found a little disturbing from a therapist an acquaintance who's a therapist, who said, yeah, mental health issues are on the rise for young people. And that's unfortunate. But anywho, I'm going to move on to something else. Oh, I had one other question about your me time.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned self-counsel, which I love that term. I sit in my distressed leather club chair. That's where a lot of the magic happens, whether it's coffee or martini, or I write stuff. But do you have conversations? Does Maggie talk to Maggie? Do you have conversations? I talk to myself. It's how I come up with stuff.
All the time. All the time. I have usually a journal handy too, because I feel like I do a lot better with pen to paper than like a note in my phone or something. But I'll tell you, it's interesting you say that. I actually, part of my me time is I love to hike. I love to be outside. I love to be in the dirt. And I like to hike alone. Take my bear spray, but
no dog, correct? Do you have a dog?
At the moment, no. My dog passed away. Speaking of therapy, this is where grief was a big one for me, because I had never experienced, and I've lost dogs before, meaning I've had many, but there was something about the suddenness and like the way this went down that just to this day, I mean, and it's almost it'll be 2 years in December. So I don't currently have a dog, and I'm just now coming around to the idea of getting another one. I've always had many, and so it's very weird to be without one. So anyway, that came out of nowhere, and that was brutal. So but she did used to hike with me. And that honestly, without her, I think has been one of the reasons. Another reason I did this podcast too, is because I think after that experience, I had to get to know myself in a whole new way, because she was if I was with Peanut, like we traveled together. She was this big. We traveled together. We went to restaurants together. There was something about her that always made me feel like she was my partner. She was I'm going to sound a little, but my dog, she really was we were a little inseparable. And so without her, it's been good. I've almost had to take a moment to not get another dog, almost not, because I could see myself running and doing that very quickly. But I'm almost trying to have the moment of trying to love. Now we're going to get into that part, the therapy part, trying to kind of be okay. Without her, and without I don't know, that little perfect, the little being that she was. I mean, she felt like human to me. So anyway, so I hike, and when I hike, I voice note. If I'm working something out, or I will come up with ideas, or like you said, that's sort of where you talk to yourself, you might come up with an idea, or the other, let's stop doing that so much. Let's stop this thought. And I'll leave these 15, 20-minute voice notes to myself. So they're little diary entries almost. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
So that was a long way of saying, yes, I talk to myself.
Dogs are special. I had a golden retriever growing up, Captain, and I'm loyal to him. I don't have a dog at this point. I obviously will get one day. I want to tell you the dog I like, because it's so funny, because I like to take pictures with dogs and pretend I have a dog. I don't want the responsibility right now with a dog, because I have a couple homes. I have a vacation home out in the desert. I just paying the bills and doing all this stuff, and I have things I got to work on, and blah, 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 blah. Have you ever heard of an Airedale? And do you know what an Airedale looks like?
Of course. They're beautiful. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with being gay, but in the 90s, my girlfriend that I took to the King Cole bar, I said, I like Airedales. And she says, well, that's something a gay man would have. She said it. I didn't say it. Don't kill the messenger. And then I was paging through GQ, and there was a cool couple sitting on a Central Park bench with an Airedale because it's stylish, and she was wrong.
She
All
is
men
wrong.
like Airedales.
All men and women. Why does it have to
Yes.
be anything related to one sex or the like? No, it's
I don't know if a lot of men are going to have little tiny
dog.
little poodles,
Why
or I just discovered what are those poo things called? Those little
Pomeranian? The little pom-pom
yes,
Pomeranians? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
They're
Those
wonderful.
they're cute. Yeah.
Yeah, they're cute.
Yeah.
Get any dog you want.
No, it's called a moo. No, what's it called? It's
What?
called a no.
Oh,
I don't.
is it a blend? Okay.
The Maltese blend.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a designer dog. I call those it's like a designer bag. They like design these. Yeah. And,
You get them from the, we have enough dogs in the world, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have to,
We do. And
okay,
honestly, you can find a rescue for a purebred if you need. Look, I have friends who have allergies and all that stuff. Like, you can find an organization that will just have that specific breed, and instead of the breeding and all that goes into making more. Yeah.
I want to before we're going to do two things at the end, but I want to do one thing that you wanted to talk about, road trips. But we're going to do the top 5 movies, and then we do a quick thing called the Life Gorgeous quiz, and then we're done because we got to keep things moving. You've got things to do.
I'll come back me time. Come on me time.
Yes, absolutely.
As well.
Yeah, I'm fun. I am fun.
You're a ball.
And I'm holding back right now, but I am. I'm just kidding. Okay,
I
so
remember
do you
how
like?
much we had? We had a great time.
Oh, we weren't even drinking. I didn't know you drank.
No.
But anywho, so road trips. Craigers doesn't like to fly. My favorite thing in the world is to drive up north. I have different little hamlets and little coastal towns I visit. What about you? Road trips.
Where do I like to go?
Yeah, and you said you like road trips. You said you love them, right?
Love. I mean, look, last year I went on a road trip. Honestly, I didn't know where I was going to go. I left for, when I left, I was leaving for 2 weeks, and I was going to maybe drive all the way to Kentucky, which is where I'm from. But I ended up getting called back to LA for something. So I had never been to Sedona. And so
beautiful. It's all red and sienna, right? I've been there. It's just stunning.
I was in a spot, like a road trip, I think, is when I'm in like a space of like, that's not, I'm going to hop a plane and go explore. That's like, I need some real, I need quiet. I need alone. I need nature. I need to see every step of it. I don't care if it's desert or like what, I just need to, and sometimes I like to listen to music really loud and scream at the top of my lungs. It's very fun. So Sedona, I got to Sedona thinking like, I'm going to leave LA and I'm going to get to Sedona my first night. And I'll spend maybe a night or two in Sedona. Maybe. I spent 6 nights there.
Wow.
I couldn't leave. I literally couldn't leave. So that whole area, Flagstaff, and then you get like the base of that, you get part of the Grand Canyon. And then I love the desert as well. Joshua Tree. I went to Idlewild recently, which was just very beautiful, woodsy, a whole different vibe.
Right.
Love driving up Big Sur, coming down there. But then, I mean, and I feel like when I was young, I mean, I didn't fly on a plane until I was 15, I don't think, or 16. So we only traveled like, so all around there as well, like it's very beautiful. But, and I've done some big ones. I did New York to LA that over 3 weeks.
Wow.
I did. Louisville to LA, I've probably done 4 or 5 times in my life. But love a road
drive.
trip.
Yeah.
Love a drive. Yeah.
I go up. So my favorite place in the world I used to live is called Carmel by the Sea. And it's right above Big Sur. And I worked in local TV. What's that?
That's where I stayed.
Oh, yeah.
It's on Carmel by the Sea, yeah.
So I lived there 3 years. I go back all the time. I have my birthdays there. I do, it's just my place. They treat me like a local because I lived there and I was doing TV in Monterey, Salinas, and then I went to ESPN. But that's my favorite place in the world. But there are places along the way. There's an Italian restaurant in Carpinteria I go to. There's a place in Ventura, Lure's Fish House, and I get sand dabs. And then there's a place called Los Alamos that has Bell's Restaurant, which is a Michelin star.
Love Los Alamos. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another one. Santa Ynez. Yeah.
So and you can pack and leave whenever. You can pack as many loafers and blazers as you want, and you don't have to. You can leave when you want. And it sounds like you're very irresponsible, and you just go when you want. I'm just kidding. But,
True.
No. Okay. So,
but that's the nice thing about a road trip. Also, you can pack what you want. Exactly. Like you literally can. I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter. I can put it all in my car. I can go for as long as I want. Yeah.
It's time for the top 5 movies of all time.
Okay.
Now, this was your homework. I assume you did it.
Sort of.
I know it's difficult. I always tell people you can always change it later. Don't pressure yourself. Go ahead.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be in an order.
These are mine, though, right? These are not like.
No, they're David Duchovny's. Yes, they're yours. Yes.
But I mean, there's some obvious top movies of all time. But like for me, Maggie, I have I got it down to 12. I'm kidding. Okay. Okay. I have some runners up.
Okay.
Runner-ups? Runners up. Okay. Which spells something felt. Okay. I'm going to start with Rocky. Rocky is probably my number one. The original. I do love the whole series. I love sports movies. But the first one is absolute magic. It's a love story. It's like that is one thing. I will stop whatever I'm doing.
How many times have you seen Rocky?
Oh my God. I've lost count. And I just
over 30 then. Over 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Is that what we're going with? Are we going with like, because there were a couple that I was like, I actually would put this in my top, but I don't watch it all the time. So I'm going to go with the ones I've seen the most. The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, tremendous. Like magical. And I'm glad that you liked it, because when we were kids, we could not believe it. We couldn't believe it. And then we watch it as an adult. We still like, wow, this holds up.
It holds up. Another one that they play it every year on like AMC or something. They'll do like a marathon of it, and I will just leave it on because and most of the time I'll be busy and doing something, and I have to stop and watch it. It's incredible. Okay, When Harry Met Sally. Okay, I think classic. New York classic. Little romantic. I love romantic comedies. Yes. Okay. One of the questions I didn't ask you, I was going to ask you about how you got into acting. We'll do that next time. Did you have a favorite actress growing up? Because you just mentioned Meg Ryan or Harry Met Sally. Do you have a favorite actress? Yeah, I mean, I love romantic comedies, so I love Meg Ryan. I love Meryl Streep, obviously. Right. I mean, that's probably who stands out the most. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can add to that list, but His Girl Friday. Love. Oh, interesting. That's an old movie. Yeah, but like that fast talking, like for me, I've done mostly comedy. That's one I will rewatch. I think it's so good. I think that anyway, and I reference it a lot, and I try to. Yeah, okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's great. That's great. So what am I up to? Have I done 4? I think you just did, oh my God. Yeah. So now I have to pick one. I only have one more to pick. Okay. Wait, I think you did 3. Did you do 3? Wizard of Oz, Rocky. When Harry Met Sally, you did 4. Oh my God, no. Okay. I'm gonna have to pick one. Here's where I'm at. I have a Disney. I've got True Romance. I've got The Lion King. I've got Love and Basketball. Love it because I love those movies. And I love My Cousin Vinny, and I have Arrival. So I'm probably going to go. What was the last one after My Cousin Vinny? Arrival, which is a more recent movie. Don't know. Amy Adams. Okay. Aliens. Incredible story. I might have to go with that because I have seen it. I love it so much. But you heard the others I mentioned. I love all of those. Yeah. Like they're all it's very hard for me to pick. That's a good list. That's a very good list. I like it. And I like that you're passionate about it. You seem to care. Because I can't choose. Like I know. I I was like,
I don't normally let people name 12 movies, but you're special that way.
Have you seen Love and Basketball? Have you seen? You haven't seen Arrival? Hold on.
There's some I haven't seen.
Okay.
It does bother people when there are certain movies we haven't seen. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
I am going to. I haven't done this in a while because I used to have the guest on and I would give my 5, but then everyone had heard it, so I pull back. But since you don't know my 5, I'm going to give you my 5.
I want to know.
And normally I have 4, and then I add 1 and I rotate 1. That's not necessarily a top 5, but I just enjoy it so much. So I'm a Hitchcock fan, so I go North by Northwest with Cary Grant. I obviously love Vertigo. I love Rear Window. I love Strangers on a Train. I go one Hitchcock, and I say North by Northwest. A little movie called Chinatown. I like Chinatown.
So good.
And I like a movie. This one most people haven't seen, but it's great. Sunset Boulevard. That's when she says, "I'm ready for my close-up, Mr.
Yes.
Blah blah blah."
A lot of people haven't seen Sunset Boulevard.
Well, it's a black and white. It's old Hollywood, which I adore. What else do I have? I'm trying to remember. Oh, I'm actually probably going to forget The Graduate. I love The Graduate.
Great. Yeah. Love The Graduate.
And then the 5th one that I rotate, like sometimes I'll say Tootsie because I like Tootsie when I was in college. But I like Sideways a lot. I enjoyed rewatching Sideways. So that one doesn't necessarily belong in my top 5, but I put it there for fun. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. See, that's what I could do that. Next time I could say my 4 and then I'm going to pick a different one for the 5th, 5. Because this one, what did I say? What did I actually give it to? Arrival. Oh, interesting. It was between that probably and Love and Basketball, but I think next time I'll probably go with My Cousin Vinny, just for fun.
Do you, as a woman, I'm going to ask you one more movie question. Do you do you care about I find, even though I like I'm a comedic person, but as I get older, I say to myself, I say to my friends, I don't really care. I don't watch a lot of comedy now. All I care about is just being superior, which is a joke. But I like espionage, so I've always liked Bond, so I like Daniel Craig as Bond. I like the Mission Impossible. I like Jason Bourne.
Love.
Do you
love
like
those
that?
movies?
Do you like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love Bond. Also, Bond is more than just like an espionage movie. Like, I feel like it's a culture or something.
No, it's a big deal.
Yeah,
I grew up on that stuff. We thought it was the coolest thing around, but I just didn't know.
Love Jason Bourne movies. Yeah. So good. Franca
Here's one.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a movie from the 70s called 3 Days of the Condor with Robert Redford? Yeah, it's a good one. Those are the ones I rewatch. I just find that interesting.
I haven't. I believe I've seen. I know of the movie, but I don't know it well.
Before we get to the Life Gorgeous quiz, which is only a few questions.
Wow, I'm nervous.
What's your favorite sitcom of all time? I'm curious.
Ooh, probably Cheers. Yeah. I think I gotta go Cheers. Yeah. It hits every. Like, you mean I could say Seinfeld. I love Seinfeld. I love Friends. But I think Cheers hits all the points.
Were you watching it? Were you old enough when it was on, or did you see it in reruns?
Yeah, I was old enough when it was on.
Okay.
Yeah, here's the night.
So I liked Cheers. Mm-hmm. And when I was in college, I liked Johnny Carson and Cheers. And I said, I think I do. I want to do a sitcom because there's only one talk show, so I can't do a talk show. So I'll do a sitcom because I really like Cheers. But here's the funny thing. I'm going to tell you my favorite sitcom of all time. It's not even close. And when I was working, I didn't watch it when it was on. So I caught it in reruns. And I interviewed the people. I interviewed the cast separately, the different actors and actresses. But I got addicted to it after I left late night. A little something called Frasier.
Oh, classic. So good. I didn't watch that when it was on. And it's funny, they're rebooting it, right?
I know.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be okay. A friend of mine told me about it. He was the warm-up guy and he said, no, they're pretty good. The episodes are pretty good. So we'll see. But I watch, it's on 11 season and I've watched it, 4 or 5 times through. And I just love, he's erudite. I just like that, cause if I like,
it fits
Gorgeous,
you. I would actually pair you, if I were to pair you with a sitcom, I would pair you with Frasier. That actually makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I used to have Jane Leaves on,
Oh yeah, she's great.
and I'm so glad I didn't watch it because I fell in love with Daphne Moon, and I was like, oh my
Oh,
God, I had her on.
yeah.
I would have just
Keep it
it would
together.
have
Keep it
been
together, Kilby.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, we finish now with the Life Gorgeous quiz. Simple questions,
Are
profound
they?
insights.
Oh boy.
Favorite pie. Favorite pie.
Oh, peach.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Seasonal.
It's very seasonal and very home, very
Yeah.
Kentucky. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm doing a couple food questions for you. Usually I separate them. I'm finishing with my favorite food question, but
Okay.
I wanted to hear I used to do favorite pie. I haven't done it in a while. I
Oh.
like cream pies. I like coconut
Oh.
cream,
Hmm.
Some
I mean,
people
I
like
probably should say Derby pie because I'm
I
from
don't know what Derby
Kentucky.
pie is. What
Oh,
is
it's
Derby
okay.
pie?
You don't need to know what Derby pie
Kentucky
is.
Derby pie? What
Yeah,
is it with?
it's like it's a very
Pecan.
thick pecan. It's a whole bunch of things.
Molasses.
Yes,
Yeah.
very, very, very heavy, but it's very good. And but it's not my favorite.
First concert.
Terribly embarrassing.
Rick Springfield. No. Michael Bolton.
No,
First
but I have a funny
concert.
Michael Bolton story. New Kids on the Block.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Is it?
I don't know. It's fine.
1989, baby. Yeah, that was my first. I was got the tickets for Christmas, and that was my first concert.
This is back in Louisville or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
At Freedom Hall. If anybody remember? Yeah. Where the Cardinals play.
You ever heard of Daryl Griffith, by the way?
Of course.
Oh,
yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Have you heard of Denny Crumb?
Yes, the legendary Denny Crumb. Of course.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's my era. Yeah.
Wait, did you say you had a Michael Bolton story?
Oh my God. No, yes, but it's not great. We it's just funny you said Michael Bolton because I recently told the story. I was working on I did the last season of 2.5 Men, and I was with Ashton Kutcher's character. We were together as a couple, and he had a fantasy about me leaving him for Michael Bolton, and we played it out. Michael Bolton actually came on the show, and it was like a whole thing, and we had a kiss. It was so I kissed Michael Bolton. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. We have to lead with that. I guess we'll have to that'll have to be the tease.
It was for work.
I know.
It was for work, but it's just a funny story. It was a very fun week, actually. He's very nice.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think of crumbled blue cheese?
No, thanks.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's right. You don't like blue cheese olives. That's right. That's right.
I don't like flavors, and this is just a person's taste because I'm alone in this. I don't like flavors that overpower. I don't like a sauce that overpowers the star of the meal. So I don't like a flavor that overpowers like a salad, a drink, or whatever. I want it all to kind of be complementary versus all I can taste now. And for whatever reason, blue cheese for me it's too much. It's
interesting. So I obviously love blue cheese, but my brother kind of says the same thing you do. It's too strong.
Yeah.
Because obviously you like Parmesan cheese on your, sprinkled on your pasta.
Yes, I do.
Right?
Obviously. Yes, you're not an animal.
Would you say you're savory over sweet as
Definitely.
far as yeah.
I'm also
my big downfall. I don't have a sweet tooth, thank God. My downfall when I'm a bad boy, and I've been a bad boy the last few weeks, I get a white cheddar popcorn bag and I eat it in one sitting. That's a bad boy.
That's bad. You know what my version of that is?
What?
White cheddar hit peas. Do you know these chickpea cheesy hoops?
I haven't done it. Never heard of them. I don't know if I want to hear it. Maybe it's going to be dangerous for me.
White cheddar, can't have them in the house. Can't have them in the house. So white cheddar does sometimes go really well with a red wine. So That's all I'll say. So while it's bad, it can be good. You can make it.
Right.
You can still make it fancy. Okay, go on.
That's funny.
Yeah.
2 more. Thoughts on naps. What are your thoughts on naps, Maggie?
100%. 100%. I'm
It's the greatest.
the greatest. And I feel like that's a work schedule made me like my, shooting in TV, you only get a little time for lunch. And I mastered the eat something, take a quick nap thing. And I think that, when you got to close your eyes, even just 20 minutes, big napper.
There's your me time, America. Naps.
Yeah. Lost art.
And here's the last one.
I feel like I'm doing all right.
You are.
Okay.
You're very good. Except for Arrival, you're very good. You've done very well today.
It's so good. Watch that movie and tell me you're not moved by it.
By the way, I'm just looking this up. Oh wow, what a rating it's got. I do take the IMDb rating seriously for movies.
Oh,
if it's over a 7, it's good. This is a 7.9, which is amazing. Because all the Hitchcock movies are over 8, and The Godfather's like 9.2, which is astronomical.
Yeah.
But when they blow it sometimes, I rewatched The Firm with Tom Cruise over and over. It's 6.8. It should be like a 7.1.
The Firm is incredible.
I love it. I love Gene Hackman. I love
Gene Triplehorn, right? And
Gene Triplehorn is in it.
She's so
Hal Holbrook
movie. Oh my God, that movie is. I've seen that one a lot. It's very, very good. Very.
You're not listening. His wife chooses the color for the Mercedes. Yeah. Where are you going? I'm looking for my wife. Did I lose you? I mean, his dramatic at the end when he's with his wife.
It's beautiful.
Oh,
it's beautiful.
Anyway, so your movie Arrival is very. Okay, here it is.
Yeah.
As we jump around, the agile mind of Craigers and Maggie jumping around. Now we focus. Top 3 sandwiches of all time.
Top 3 sandwiches of all time? Oh my goodness.
How you repeated that like you weren't excited.
I
have to tell you, I don't eat a lot of carbs, but I do love sandwiches. So I'm very passionate about it. What you could be funny and not funny. You could be disappointing and say, Craig, I don't like sandwiches. But do you like sandwiches?
I do like sandwiches. I have to tell you. I have to tell you though. I have this thing. I have like celiac thing, so I can't have gluten. So my taste in sandwiches is going to be kind of based on where I can eat breads from. This is just like a 10-year thing. Yeah.
Right. And you can order gluten-free bread, by the way.
Yeah. And there are places that do it better than others. Bay Cities in Santa Monica.
Santa Monica, yeah. The Italian thing they have there. Which sandwich? People have mentioned that.
Yes, it's. Yeah. I don't know that it gets better than that. And I gotta I'm gonna put if you gotta go like the fast food route on that too. Jersey Mike's Italian stuff. This is not my second choice, but I'm saying
You're just saying, yeah. I've never been to Jersey Mike's. Yeah.
It's good. It's really good.
But I haven't had the Italian sub. It's called, what's it called? Bay City Rollers? What'd you call the place?
No, Bay City. It's just called Bay City sub.
Bay City. But I assume it's salami and ham and what's on there? Is that all that?
I think it's just their Italian salami. I want to say salami, ham. I do like kind of a like a brie. I like a provolone brie situation. A turkey. Sorry, not provolone. A turkey and brie situation. Who used to do this? There was this place here called Bread Block. They just closed actually. And it did
that sounds good, by the way.
It was like a Thanksgiving in a sandwich.
Right.
There's got to be a name for it.
Oh! You mean when they put cranberry on there as well?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Those are great.
That's really good. Do you remember Doughboys?
I'm sorry. I apologize. I do remember Doughboys. I'm going to tell you why, young lady. When I first was working at CBS, I was renting a house on La Jolla. I can say now where it was, La Jolla, because I don't live there anymore. And Doughboys was right there. And I knew the owner. And he had no one saw this, but he had a big cigar up there, like a piece of artwork.
Okay.
And he gave me his humidor. I still have it in my den. He gave me a humidor, the owner of Doughboys. And I do remember it. I do remember it. I'm trying to think of what I used to get.
I know, same. It was more about the soup there for me, I think, than it was about the sandwich. I'm going to go kind of I'm not a sandwich girl really. So I'm going to go, no, I'm not doing the thing you were like, I don't like sandwiches. I'm not being that person because I appreciate a sandwich when I can have, that's why that Italian sub is that's my go-to. Like
Good.
when I want
That's
a
a good one.
sandwich, I want I want the banana peppers, I want the salami, I want the ham, I want sometimes they have like mortadella, sometimes they do, it's a whole thing.
Right.
So last time, I think I'm going to go real simple with just I like a basic, I like turkey and ham together.
Right.
And I'm going because this is what my mom used to make, like a simple with like lettuce, tomato. What would the name of that sandwich be? I was actually going to say a peanut butter and jelly too, but that's not really.
People have said that. No, that would just be turkey and Swiss or a turkey ham sandwich.
Basic. Yeah.
Because people always ask, are you saying, am I supposed to name a famous sandwich like a Monte Cristo that's fried? Deep fried? Yeah. Or am I supposed to name a place like Bay City in Santa Monica? I said, no, whatever you want. But what I do is a general sandwich. And you did a good job. A very good job, because you took it, you were frowning a little bit.
Thinking about it. Yeah.
I'm going to give you my 3. And even though I try not to eat too much bread, I do like rye bread and I do like pumpernickel. And every sandwich I have, I'm probably going to have them toast the bread. So if I get gluten-free bread, you're toasting it, man.
Yeah.
But here are my 3. Okay. Reuben.
Oh, great.
Reuben with sauerkraut, pastrami or corned beef. Okay. What's that?
No. Like, do you have a place here, like Greenblatt's or like?
I used to go to Greenblatt's before it closed.
Oh, it's closed?
Yes. The one on Sunset is closed. It closed about 8 months ago or maybe longer.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I used to go there. I used to, if I drank it, it was up from my house. If I was drinking by myself, I might go down and get a Reuben and that's healthy at midnight. Wait. Where's my? I like chicken salad. I like Reuben. I like chicken salad sandwiches. I just like it with grapes or walnuts. I like it with cheddar. I love red onions, young people. Red onions on toasted rye.
So good.
And so the third one, I switched it around a few times. The one I'm not saying, which I love, is grilled cheese.
Oh my God. I knew you were going to say that. I was literally just thinking of 2 sandwiches that I was like, oh, I love an egg salad sandwich and I love a grilled cheese. And I didn't say either one of those. I was thinking meat. And then I was like, I bet he's going to say grilled cheese right now. And he did. Yeah.
At Republic, it used to be called Campanile, and they had grilled cheese night on Thursdays. And sometimes they'd put on a little prosciutto or ham in there with the grilled cheese. It was so much fun. But the one I say instead of grilled cheese, and this is polarizing, and you can make a face at this, but a couple of my friends have actually listed it. You ready? Tuna melt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can get down with a tuna melt. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. Like, I'm going to probably have 3 bites and be like, okay, I feel satisfied. But yes.
It's so funny, the reaction. A friend of mine, this guy Ryan Rusilla, goes, well, you're not going back to work after a tuna melt. That's like, what? Because he thinks it's the odor is offensive to your coworkers. And then another guy is like, you're going straight to the doctor after a tuna melt. Like, it's really rich with the mayonnaise. But anyways, I like them. So. Yeah.
No, I like a rich sandwich. I appreciate that. I just know that I'm not going to be able to eat a lot of it.
This has been fun.
I think I passed. If there was like a grade for the quiz, how'd I do?
Oh, you did very well.
Okay, cool.
You did very well. And what kind of beats everything, the reason you're a good person is, I don't know if I've met a female recently who likes martinis as much as you do. I mean, that's so impressive.
I do like them. I hate them.
Thank you, young lady.
Oh, thank you. I love chatting. Come on, me time as well. Like, I would love to have go that route.
Glad to be on.
Yeah.
I would love to answer questions from you. That'll be great. Thank you so much.
This was so much fun, and thanks for letting that. It's fun to just talk fancy, and I don't know. It's nice. It's nice. Thanks a lot.
Maggie Lawson.
Okay. Thank
Maggie
you all.
Lawson, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for listening to us talk about martinis. Do I leave now? No, I don't.
No,
right?
Stay right there.
Okay,
just relax. That's our show, young people. I'll see you next time. And remember, I'm proud of you.